Stop. Don't scroll. Don't move your thumb. If you leave right now, you will lose the one protection I came to give you today. I am not here to motivate you. I am here to warn you. My name is in the breath you just took, and I have been watching you leak your power through your mouth. You've been talking too much, explaining too much, defending what God gave you to people who were never supposed to understand it. And that is exactly why you've been attacked. Misunderstood, drained, targeted. Chosen one, listen to me very carefully. You hold something inside you that the enemy cannot see clearly, but the moment you name it, the moment you reveal it, you become visible to forces you are not yet ready to fight. Your gift is dangerous, not to you but to the darkness that hides in others. It exposes what they've buried. It shines light where they've built altars in secret. And when you speak it out loud too soon, you give them a map to your soul. I need you to stay with me until the end of this message, because I am about to tell you what to say and what you must never say again, so you stop bleeding your peace, your clarity, and your covering. If your chest feels tight right now, that's your spirit recognizing the truth before your mind does. Whisper these words: Lord, give me wisdom to guard what you placed in me. Don't skip. Don't scroll. This is the word you were pulled here to hear. And if you walk away now, you will spend the next 7 days wondering why you feel more exposed than ever. Stay with me, my child. Heaven is about to show you how to move in power without announcing it. I see you. Not the version you show the world. I see the version you hide at 3 a.m. when the house is quiet and your mind won't stop. You're tired, my child. Not lazy tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind that sits in your bones and whispers, you've been carrying too much for too long. You check your bank account like it's a medical test, heart racing, breath held, praying the number didn't drop again. One symptom in your body and your mind runs a marathon. Is it serious? Is it the beginning of something worse? Should I call the doctor, or am I overreacting again? You sit in a quiet room and somehow it feels loud. The silence isn't peaceful, it's full of everything you're trying not to think about. And you're still talking to people who aren't here anymore. In your head, in your heart, at the table where they used to sit. I know you, beloved. Your family thinks you're too sensitive, too intense, too quiet. They say you overthink. They say you read too much into things. But the truth is, you see what they refuse to face. You sense tone shifts before the sentence finishes. You catch contradictions that others miss. You feel when something is off, even when everything looks fine. You walk into a room and your peace changes instantly. Not because you're paranoid, because you're awake. You don't just hear words, my child. You hear motives. You hear the space between what someone says and what they mean. And that's why small talk exhausts you. You're not being rude, you're carrying spiritual data that others don't even know exists. You've been calling yourself broken, anxious, too much. But listen to me very carefully. What you've been calling anxiety, heaven calls discernment under pressure. What you've been calling overthinking, God calls wisdom trying to protect you. What you've been calling loneliness, the Spirit calls separation for preparation. You weren't abandoned, beloved. You were set apart. There's a difference. And every person who walked away, every door that closed, every opportunity that didn't work out wasn't rejection. It was redirection. Because you carry something they couldn't handle, not because you're too much, because they're not ready. Your gift exposes what people hide. Your presence shines light into corners they've kept dark on purpose. And when you open your mouth too soon, when you explain too much, when you try to prove what God gave you to people who are sent to test you, you don't just lose your peace, you lose your cover. Stay with me, my child, because what I'm about to tell you next will rewrite how you see every painful moment you've lived through. Your pain wasn't punishment. It was proof. Proof that you were being prepared for something the enemy tried to stop before it started. And now, right now, heaven is about to show you how to guard it, how to move with it, how to let it work without announcing it. Don't scroll. Don't leave. This is the moment your spirit has been waiting for. Now, let me tell you why you've suffered the way you have. And I need you to hear this with your whole heart, my child, because what I'm about to say will change the way you see every wound, every betrayal, every silent night you endured alone. You didn't suffer because you were weak. You suffered because you were given something most people will never carry. discernment. And I need you to understand what that word really means, because the world has confused it with suspicion, with negativity, with being cold or judgmental. But discernment is none of those things. Discernment is God letting you see beneath the surface so you don't die in the wrong environment. Discernment is not judgment. Judgment condemns. Discernment protects. Judgment wants to be right. Discernment just wants you safe. The Bible says in Mark chapter 4 verse 9, "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." You hear what others don't. You feel what others miss. You sense the shift in a room before anyone speaks. You know when someone is lying, not because you're paranoid, but because your spirit is awake. Proverbs 9:10 tells us, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." Your gift is wisdom, my beloved child, born from reverence, shaped by fire, refined through pain. Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God." Discernment is a product of transformation. It doesn't come cheap. It comes through breaking, through isolation, through nights when you thought you were going crazy, but really, you were going deeper. Think about Joseph. He saw ahead. He dreamed of futures that hadn't arrived yet, and it cost him relationships before it saved a nation. His brothers hated him for what he could see. They threw him into a pit not because he was arrogant, but because his clarity made their darkness visible. And here's the part people don't tell you, chosen one. Discernment makes you a mirror, and mirrors make liars nervous. That's why you've been rejected. That's why you've been misunderstood. That's why people got uncomfortable around you even when you said nothing. Because your presence alone exposed what they were hiding. Your spirit carried a frequency they couldn't fake, and instead of rising to meet it, they tried to dim you. Now listen closely. God told you to keep this gift hidden for a reason. Because when you reveal your discernment too soon, some people will turn it into a challenge. They'll try to confuse you, bait you, test you, drain you. They'll ask you questions they don't want answers to just to see if you'll bite. They'll throw chaos at your peace just to see if you'll react. The enemy can't steal your gift, my child. So he tries to make you misuse it. He tries to make you explain yourself, defend yourself, prove yourself. And every time you do, you leak power. The devil doesn't fear your personality. He doesn't fear your emotions. He fears your clarity, because clarity cuts through every lie he's ever told. And when you learn to move with your gift in silence, when you stop announcing what you see and simply walk according to what you know, you become untouchable. Stay with me. I'm about to show you how to carry this power without bleeding it. They called you crazy, not because you were, but because you saw the truth and they couldn't afford for you to speak it. They labeled you difficult, not because you were harsh, but because you had boundaries, and boundaries make liars uncomfortable. They distanced themselves from you, not because you changed, but because your presence, your very existence, exposed the mask they wore in public and the darkness they hid in private. My beloved child, listen to me now. I saw the nights you cried in silence. I saw you apologize when you weren't wrong just to keep the peace. I saw you shrink yourself so others could feel big. I saw you take the blame for things you didn't do because it was easier than watching them crumble under the weight of their own lies. And heaven has recorded every single time you were misread, misunderstood, and made to feel like the problem. Every single time. You thought no one was watching, but I was. The Father was. The angels were. And we have written it all down in a book that cannot be erased, cannot be edited, and cannot be ignored. Now hear the verdict. The ones who manipulated you will be exposed by their own patterns. Not by your hand, not by your words, but by the very cycles they refused to break. The ones who mocked you will feel the absence of your support, and they will wonder why their lives suddenly feel so empty, so cold, so stuck. The ones who used you will lose access to your energy, your prayers, your kindness, your covering. God doesn't have to destroy them, my child. He just removes you. And when you are gone, they will realize what they lost. But by then, you will be so far ahead, so deeply healed, so powerfully repositioned, that their regret will not even reach you. You will be untouchable, not because you are cold, but because you are covered. Deuteronomy 31:6 says this, He will never leave you, nor forsake you. Read that again. He will never leave you. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone. Even when they walked away, he stayed. Even when they turned their backs, he turned his face toward you. Even when they called you too much, he called you his own. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Do you hear that? Your weakness is not your disqualification. It is the exact place where God proves his power. The nights you couldn't stand, he held you up. The days you couldn't speak, he spoke for you. The moments you thought you were breaking, he was actually breaking you open so his light could pour through. You were never falling apart, my child. You were breaking through. And now, heaven is not punishing you. Heaven is repositioning you. This isolation you've been feeling, it's not rejection, it's protection. This silence you've been sitting in, it's not abandonment, it's preparation. God has been clearing the stage, removing every voice that tried to drown out his voice in your life. And now, chosen one, you are about to step into a season where your gift will no longer be questioned. Your calling will no longer be challenged. Your peace will no longer be interrupted, because heaven has placed a seal over you that says, protected, purposed, untouchable. Stay with me. We're not done yet. My beloved child, something is shifting inside you right now. Can you feel it? The exhaustion of proving yourself is starting to lift. The weight of explaining who you are to people who were never meant to understand you, it's rolling off your shoulders like an old coat you no longer need. You are entering a new season, and in this season, you will stop auditioning for love. You will stop handing out sacred access to unclean hands. You will stop defending the gift God placed inside you to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Listen to me carefully. Your power is about to grow quieter, and that is not weakness. That is upgrade. Because in the next season, your silence will carry more authority than their noise ever could. You are learning something the prophets learned in the wilderness. You are learning something David learned when he refused to defend himself before Saul. You are learning that God does not need your mouth to prove his word. He needs your stillness, your restraint, your holy refusal to scatter what he gathered in secret. And now, my child, watch what happens. Peace will return to you faster than it ever has before. You will feel no in your body before your mind even has the words. You will walk into rooms and know immediately who belongs in your story and who does not. You will become less reactive, more precise, more centered. You will crave simplicity, cleanliness, order, prayer, rest. You will no longer tolerate chaos in your space, because you finally understand that your environment is not neutral, it is spiritual, and God is teaching you to protect the atmosphere around you the way a priest protects the altar. This is not isolation, this is consecration. You are not running from people, you are running toward God, and in that run, some will fall away. Not because you pushed them, but because your frequency changed, and they could not match it. Let them go, my child. Let them go without guilt. Let them go without explanation. Let them go without a final speech, because your new season does not require their approval. It does not require their understanding. It does not even require their presence. What it requires is your obedience, your silence, your trust. And here is the holy paradox that most people never learn. The quieter you become, the more powerfully God moves on your behalf. The less you defend yourself, the more fiercely he defends you. The more you withdraw into his presence, the more visible his favor becomes in your life. People will start to notice something different about you. They will not be able to name it, but they will feel it. They will say, "You seem different," and you will smile, because you know that you are no longer living by the world's rules. You are no longer measuring your worth by how loudly you can announce your value. You are walking in a quiet authority that does not need to be seen to be real. And my child, in this new season, God will make your silence louder than their noise. He will make your restraint more powerful than their accusations. He will make your peace more disruptive than their chaos. Because you are no longer playing their game, you are playing his. And in his game, the last are first. The quiet are exalted. The hidden are revealed. Welcome to your upgrade, chosen one. This is where your true power begins. So now, my beloved child, let me give you something you can hold on to starting today. Not theory, not wishful thinking. A code, a way of walking that will keep your spirit covered and your peace intact. I call them the 5 rules of hidden discernment. Write them down if you need to. Tattoo them on your heart if you have to. Because the moment you start living by these rules, the attacks will lose their aim. Rule number 1. Don't announce what you notice. If God shows you something, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Not your sister, not your coworker, not even the person it's about. When the Lord peels back the curtain and lets you see what's really happening, that's between you and Him. The moment you turn that revelation into a conversation, you lose the advantage. Rule number 2. Don't argue with confusion. If someone keeps twisting your words, stop feeding it. You are not called to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When you engage with confusion, you give it authority. Let it starve. Rule number 3. Don't reveal your next move. Move in prayer, not in performance. The enemy studies your patterns. He listens to your announcements. He watches your posts. And the moment you broadcast your plan, he sends interference. So pray it first. Move it second. Talk about it never, unless God says otherwise. Rule number 4. Don't try to save people who enjoy darkness. Discernment is not your assignment to fix everybody. Some people love their chaos. They need the drama. They feed on the confusion. And if you keep reaching into that fire to pull them out, you will get burned every single time. Love them. Pray for them. But don't give them access to your gift. Rule number 5. Speak to God before you speak to people. He will tell you what is yours to carry and what is not. He will show you which battle to fight and which altar to walk past. He will give you the words that unlock doors and the silence that closes tombs. So before you respond, before you defend, before you explain, take it to Him first. Now let me give you some short, powerful phrases you can use when people press you. When they ask too many questions, when they want you to prove yourself, when they try to pull information out of you that God told you to guard, say this: I'm praying about it. Say this: I'm not available for that. Say this: I release this conversation. Say this: God will handle what I cannot. These are not rude. These are boundaries wrapped in grace. And my child, here is the last key. Listen close. Discernment without boundaries becomes torment. If you can see everything but protect nothing, you will break. If this word hit your spirit right now, I want you to type 999 inches the comments. Let that be your seal. I will guard what God gave me. Like this message as your yes to wisdom. Share it with one person who has been bleeding their peace. And subscribe, not for numbers, but because you are building a wall around your mind. Father, I thank you for every soul listening right now. Give them wisdom. Give them peace. Strengthen their boundaries. Heal them from betrayal. Reassure their finances. Calm their bodies. Protect their homes. In Jesus' name, Amen.